Now, accused triple murderer Erin Patterson is set to return to the witness stand for the third day in a row this morning after yesterday conceding that the beef Wellington lunch she served to 4 of her relatives contained death cap mushrooms. Ms Patterson is giving evidence in the 6th week of her trial, charged with deliberately serving her relatives the meal in 2023 containing poisonous death cap mushrooms. 3 of them later died.
The 50-year-old maintains her innocence, saying the deaths were a tragic accident, as Alexandra Alvaro reports from the Latrobe Valley in Victoria's southeast.
Erin Patterson told the court she'd feed foraged mushrooms to her children, purchasing a dehydrator so she could preserve mushrooms she'd found in the wild. It's a hobby she says she picked up during COVID times, and her children would sometimes join her on her picking expeditions. Erin Patterson has pleaded not guilty to the murder of her in-laws and her estranged husband's aunt by serving them a meal containing death cap mushrooms. She says she didn't deliberately poison her guests. She agreed yesterday death cap mushrooms must have been in the meal she cooked her relatives. Ms Patterson also became emotional when quizzed about messages she'd sent to her internet friends about her in-laws. In the messages, already aired to the court earlier in the trial, she said she was sick of her estranged husband's family and wanted nothing to do with them. The court heard the messages were sent at a time where Ms Patterson was having disagreements with her husband about child support after their separation. Yesterday, she told the court she regretted the messages, explaining she was feeling hurt. When court resumes today, it's expected Ms Patterson will be back in the witness box taking questions from her defence.
A second man has been charged after a fatal stabbing at a home in Sydney's Inner West on Monday. Police are still trying to identify the victim, who they believe is a Malaysian national. Reporter Julia Andre is covering the story for us and she joins us now. G'day, Julia. Just tell us what's happened here.
Good morning, James. Well, on Monday evening at about 5 p.m, emergency services were called to a home in Croydon Park in Sydney's Inner West to reports of a stabbing. When they got there, they found the body of a 29-year-old man inside the home, and he had stab wounds to his neck. Police went on to describe that crime scene as brutal, gruesome and horrific. Now, a 32-year-old man was arrested at the scene and has been charged with murder. His case remains before the courts. Police put out an appeal for assistance just to get some more information about what happened yesterday. And last night they arrested a second man, a 36-year-old, and he's been charged with concealing a serious indictable offence. He'll face Burwood Local Court today.
All right, Julia, thank you for that. And we'll have more on that story later in the show. You can see we're joined by the fabulous Emma Rabalato next to me this morning. Lovely to have you.
Thanks.
And the fabulous Charles is here with the rest of the day's news.
Morning, James, Emma, and good morning to you at home. We'll start in Tasmania, where it's D-Day for the state's Premier Jeremy Rockliff, with the Greens set to announce whether they'll support a no-confidence motion in him. Labor leader Dean Winter tabled a no-confidence motion yesterday, citing growing debt and the plan to cut jobs and state assets. 3 crossbenchers have backed the foreshadowed motion, meaning the 5 votes of the Greens would be enough for it to pass. The Premier has said if a motion passes, he would ask the Governor to call an election. The lawyer for Kumanjayi Wyatt's family says that Northern Territory Police are keeping the family in the dark over the circumstances of the death. The 24-year-old Walpiri man died after police officers restrained him following an alleged altercation with security guards in an Alice Springs supermarket last week. Lawyer George Newhouse says the request to view the CCTV footage has been denied by NT Police, and the family wants to understand what happened. The Vanuatu government says it will revoke the citizenship and a passport granted to misogynist influencer Andrew Tate. Tate was reportedly given a Vanuatu passport in 2022 through a controversial citizenship by investment program. Tate is currently facing a range of charges, including rape and human trafficking in Romania and the UK. A wax figure of French President Emmanuel Macron has been stolen from a Parisian museum. Police say environmental activists posed as tourists before covering the statue with blankets and leaving through an emergency exit. It was later seen outside the Russian embassy, activists denouncing Macron's attitude towards French companies that continue to do business with Russia. The statue has not yet been recovered. A global search for the iconic cherry red guitar played by Marty McFly in Back to the Future as the film celebrates its 40th anniversary. The guitar was rented and returned to an LA musical instrument shop, but its fate became murky, with creators not even sure if the same instrument was used in Back to the Future 2.
It's somewhere lost in the space-time continuum, or it's in some teamster's garage.
This guitar has been lost to the future.
Tech billionaire Elon Musk has issued a blistering criticism of US President Donald Trump's spending bill, labelling it a disgusting abomination. America's editor John Lyons joins us now from Washington. John, good morning. Whew, this is quite the rebuke. What did Elon Musk post online?
Well, we all knew that when Donald Trump and Elon Musk broke up, if you like, when the bromance was over, it was often thought that it might turn ugly. And last week they had a meeting in the White House where things seemed to be relatively civilised. But in the last few hours, Elon Musk has used his social media site to unload on Donald Trump's the key centrepiece of his budget policy, his budget bill before Congress. And he has said that, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. And then he sent out a follow-up in case people hadn't got the message. It will massively increase the already gigantic budget deficit to $2.5 trillion and burden American citizens with crushingly unsustainable debt. And then he added, Congress is making America bankrupt. And clearly that's a direct attack on Donald Trump, who regards this. Donald Trump calls this, and he's got the Republicans to officially call it the big, beautiful bill. But the Republican, Donald Trump, hasn't come out yet and responded. If he does, it could get very ugly. But his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, has come out to defend Donald Trump against Elon Musk. Let's listen to what she said.
Look, the president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it. Yeah. Cameron.
John, what's the other reaction been to this?
One thing that will worry Donald Trump a bit is already a couple of prominent Republicans have come out and supported Elon Musk. So there's a clear split now. What's happening is there is now officially a split between the Trump supporters, the base, and Elon Musk and his ideological group. Republican Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky said, I agree with Elon. We have both seen the massive waste in government spending, and we know another $5 trillion in debt is a huge mistake. We can and must do better. And Republican Congressman Thomas Massie, also from Kentucky, said he's right. However, the Speaker of the House, who is a Trump loyalist, Mike Johnson, said, with all due respect, my friend Elon is terribly wrong about the one big, beautiful bill. So this is a problem that Donald Trump didn't need, and it looks like this split now between Donald Trump and Elon Musk is getting wider by the hour.